Namaskar. Um, I welcome you all to this very important webinar, which will showcase the US roadshow of one of the bestest movie that we had as private screening in United States of America, that is the Kashmir File. So let's get started again. Sorry. Can everybody keep your phones on mute? Srinivasji so everybody's muted. Just a second.
I've muted everybody.
Okay.
Start, yeah.
Namaste to everyone. I'm Surinder Kaul from Houston, and I'll be moderating today's webinar on the Thanksgiving of a very successful US roadshow of the Kashmir Files. The Kashmir File pre-screening started on November the 26th and concluded on December the 30th in Houston. So we had around 15 community screenings in the theaters. And in addition to that, we had many impact events that included impact events in various universities and prestigious institutions like Capitol Hill. Today, India is celebrating its 73rd Republic Day. This is the occasion that on behalf of all the speakers, all the participants, I wish all the Indians a very happy Republic Day. This is the day when we need to remember all our freedom fighters, all our military personnel, all our scientists, academicians, and citizens for the country, the strong country, that it's moving from strength to strength every year. So to all Indians, to all people of Indian origin, I wish you a very happy Republic Day. So before we get started, this US roadshow, we have our dearest and respected Vivek Agnihotriji with us, the eminent writer, the director, and the creative artist who has been creating buzz in India for last so many years. Similarly, we have with us Pallavi Joshi-ji, the acclaimed actress and the producer of the movie, The Kashmir Files. And you will see today our heroes, our volunteers who made this roadshow happen. And we will listen to them, their experiences, their all the collective things, how the volunteers delivered it, how the audience responded it towards the movie, and how they brought the community together. For any initiative, volunteers are the backbones, they are the pillars. And our hats off to every volunteer, to every coordinator who has delivered, not only delivered and accomplished and made this historic US roadshow a mega success. So on this note, I would also like to thank all the organizations. We had almost 36 organizations from all the diversity of India. Telugu Samaj, Gujarati Samaj, Sikh Samaj, Marathi Mandal, Kashmiri Samaj, and many other organizations and media players who were supporting this initiative from the start to end. So on the beginning, let me invite Sunil Haliji, who has been the coordinator of this roadshow, a lead coordinator. And Sunil Haliji is based in New York, New Jersey, and he has been in media entertainment and publications for last several decades. I'm not sure that if he is here right now or he's yet to enter our studio. He's here?
He's
Okay,
here. He's here.
welcome. Sunilji, floor is yours. Please share your experiences and go ahead.
Thank you, Surendraji. I'm actually driving from New York. We just were in New York to make sure the message is at the Times Square, the most important location, and Vivek's message should be communicated to rest of the world from the most important location, Times Square. Thanks to Mohanji and Mukeshji and everybody who made it happen. So I'm just driving back, sorry, in the car, but I think it will be a very peaceful sleep tonight, good night, when we look back at what we have so far accomplished. I'm a greedy person, so I think it's still a lot of work to do because the film release is still pending, which is most important to us. But going back to briefly on within my timeline, when I was fortunately connected by Rakeshji and Surendraji for this project, we were very ambitious in what we want to do. And with my little experience of this part of the world when it comes to entertainment, media, promotions, community especially, we were very clear how we want to go about it. It was crowdfunding. It is not to be financed by any individual, which is very difficult. And the goal was because we want to involve the community. We want to do screening of the film, not just talk about it. We can have a lot of impact talk shows, whether to politicians or to students, but the screening is what we really wanted. I was very nervous in the beginning because from this field, only because I know Vivek and the kind of work he does, I felt comfortable, and hats off to him. He proved our dream, what we expected from the film. And I just want to reiterate to everybody that this is first time in my 30 years, 26 years in America in distribution of films, that a film, Hindi film, has been screened in a cineplex in one theater for one day, for one show. They don't even give you a screen. They want a minimum 1 week commitment. But we were fortunate from the word go that we got that one screen eventually. Of course, many of the cities expanded it from 100 to 200 to 300 to even 400 seats. I think that was very important part of the plan, that we must have a screening in a proper theater, because the film of this size, scale, dimension, message cannot be justified just through talk or a 10-minute, 15-minute promo. People have to see it to experience it. Two, we picked up almost 21 cities, if Surendraji remembers it in the beginning, but with the time constraints, we had to cut it down to 16. I know many of the other cities are not happy because we couldn't accommodate them, but that was very important that it should be from east to west. Every segment of the society, not just Kashmiris, not just Indians, everybody should see it, as many as they can see. Our dream got left unfulfilled because we could do the finale in Manhattan, which was planned actually in the beginning, but because of Thanksgiving and other reasons, we pushed it in the last. But no worries, picture is still going to be distributed with a theatrical distribution. We'll still accomplish that dream. The other part was that involve the communities, every community, and that played a very big role, because after the screening, from every time I heard from people was, we were in India in 1990. We didn't know this happened. We always thought Kashmir was just a heaven. Kashmir was a place for honeymoon, vacation, good times. We never knew that our people were so badly hurt. So that was very big help, that we involved all the communities to come in and see. Then the talk was very important, that we should talk, we should hear from the director, the people who are involved in the film firsthand, because the rest of it is ultimately imagination. Another very important thing that helped us was in the beginning we were able to get Mithunda to the screening, and you know how it helps the anchor point, even though like hero of the film is the film itself, but in the end you need celebrity to push it in the beginning, and he agreed thanks to Pallavi for convincing him, and their modest expectations from us, the way they let us handle them with limited means, we are grateful to them. That helped to set up the Fever, New Jersey, New York. Fever helped us. Priya, absolutely big help to bring the public services, the public servants, the students, universities. And I honestly feel that the Bhisham Pitama, even though not from age point of view of this project, I always wanted to be in the back burner with my team to do what we were doing, but it could not have been done. I have seen Surendraji, what he has done. It's not very easy to pull it together. He was always there. I always knew if there is a problem, he's always there. And you need somebody, one person who is the anchor person. And I remain grateful to him as a fellow Indian, not just as a fellow Kashmiri, for what he has done for the community, for the country, and for the community at large, because this is not the India story. And lastly, I definitely think this is the first time a project of this type has been put together where you have communities all come together, every volunteer, endless hours, and every comment, every post that was there was speaking for the involvement, engagement, and emotions. It could be only done because of every volunteer who is a true hero of this film. This will go in the history when we will look back at some point. I think this is my personal experience that everybody came together. But I was talking to somebody today and I said, the most important point was this most intelligent man, Vivek Agnihotri. I've known him for quite some time, but the way he talks, the way he expresses, the way he connects, the way honestly he explains, there is no personal agenda. He just wanted to tell the story, and he told the story as honestly as he did. And even if you see the climax, he does not exploit the film for any other reason but tell the story as honestly as a filmmaker should do. We are grateful to you all, Vivek, Pallavi, Anumam Bhai Sahab, Mithunda, and every other person. But I'm looking forward to making it a great release, at least in North America, theatrical. We want lots and lots of people to see it. And I'm here as a volunteer to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunilji. You are the real leader of this show. Thanks for your commitment and dedication that you have shown time and again. On this note, let me invite Mukesh Modi Sahab. Mukesh Modi Sahab is a very dynamic leader of the community in New York area. He is himself an accomplished movie person who has directed movies. Recently, he has directed a great movie. And I have been always seeking advice from him from time to time. He's a very passionate person, very dedicated person. And thanks for giving me your input from time to time, Mukeshji. Floor is yours. Please share your thoughts. Thanks.
First of all, thank you and namaste to everyone. Thank you, Surendraji, for such a kind words. See, we know today is Republican Day, like Republic Day for us. So first, happy Republic Day to everyone. See, as Surendraji has mentioned, that we all are heroes. So like we are heroes because what we have done for this film, because we are bringing the truth, what has happened. So first, I want to salute to Vivekji. You know, we don't need to be at the border to fight against our enemy. We don't need to fight and, you know, bring the gun, bring the sword. We don't need to do that. What Vivekji has done, he's put the truth. There's a many ways. What we have done as a volunteer, we achieved, we put the truth in front of the world, that this is exactly what had happened there. But at the same time, there's a lot of things going on as Kashmir. This has happened in Kashmir, now is going all over India. We need to, what Vivekji has done, we should not stop here. We need to still counter what we need to, what is happening. We need to fight for it. We need to stand what we did. We have to keep doing it. We don't need to stop here. There's a lot of things going on. Are we, what we are doing for that? We, as we already got united. So thank you to Surendraji, what he has done to unite everyone, to unite not only the Kashmiris, but all Indians together, all the other organizations together. And we need to be united now, because there's many things happening in America. There's many things happening in India. There's a, just wanted to bring it to one, there's another bill going on. It's called Bill 5665, is the Islamophobia bill. A lot of people here, they know what's going on. That Islamophobia bill, if it passes in the House, it already passed in the House, but if it becomes a law, they will become more weaponized, they will become more powerful, and we cannot talk anything against them. Because as soon as you open your mouth, you become a Islamophobia. So what we are doing for that, we need to work on those kind of things at the same time, because we achieved one thing. Let's continue doing it. Now, after this, keep united and work on all these things, what a lot of other things going on. And we need to be united. We need to be together and fight anything which is happening anti-India and any other religions. And I wouldn't say that anti-Hindu or anything. All religions should be protected. All religions should be treated equally. But at the same time, we cannot tolerate, and we should not tolerate, if something, anybody like terrorist activities happening or whatever, the genocide happened, we should not tolerate anymore. So this is what I would suggest to everyone. And we can still sitting at home. We can write a letter to the lawmakers. We can pass the bills. We can sign the bill. We can do that. We don't need to be, as I mentioned before, we don't need to be at the border, but we can sitting at your computer. You can write a letters, sign the petition, what we are doing, and help to protect our future generation and our rights at the same time. Thank you, Surendraji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mukesh Bhai, for your crisp message. That was really nice. At this note, let me invite Mohan Vanchuji. Mohanji wears multiple hats. He is a very successful entrepreneur based in New York. He is a very good singer. He is a good human being, and he was recently awarded the South Asian Man of South Asia. And he is also the coordinator of from New York for Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora. And today he has created a history. And I should not steal that history that he has created today. I want to listen it from him. He was at Times Square, and perhaps the Kashmir files is, the Times Square is lighted with the Kashmir files. And thank you, Mohanji, for this great thing that you have done today. So, floor is yours, Mohanji.
Thank you so much, Surendraji, for your kind words. I think the credit goes to all of us here, on our team, especially Mukesh Modi ji, who was instrumental in getting this thing started. Sunil Hari ji, who's been always there, to lead and support. But thank you very much for your kind words. First of all, my heartiest congratulations to everyone on the eve of our 73rd Republic Day. So congratulations to everyone. This is a wonderful time of the year, time of January, where we reminisce and we see how far we've come. I want to congratulate Vivekji and Pallaviji for making this historic film about the Kashmiri Hindus. The world did not know about us. You have now rekindled the fire. You have brought these old, very painful memories to the foreground. that the world did not know, that the Indian government kind of, turned, the other way, and then certainly the J&K state government, did not, want to recognize this at all. So thank you for bringing, this to everybody's attention. The USA team of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora volunteers, I have to salute each one of them, because they have worked day and night, absolutely day and night, under the leadership of our firebrand leader Surinder Kaurji. He has not slept. I think during that 1.5 months that the movie was screening. We have never witnessed the sold out events for any movie in the United States. City after city after city after city, all the shows were sold out. This was like unbelievable. And for the people to be crying in the theaters, people were being hugged by Vivekji and Pallaviji. I mean, it just showed so much compassion. It was not only that you just made this movie, you were really comforting everyone that had these wounds that kind of opened up after so many years. So my hats off to you, Vivekji and Pallaviji and the team, for doing such a wonderful job. We are eagerly waiting for the movie now to be shown in India and worldwide locations. We were a little unhappy that the grand finale could not have been consummated in New York, but we were on the other hand really happy that Surinderji was able to pull off the grand finale at a minute's notice in Houston. So more hats off to you, Surinderji, for pulling off the impossible. And this was a great great, turn of events. Everything, worked out very well. So we are eagerly waiting for the movie to be released in India and the worldwide locations. Today was, a very special day for us. We basically got an opportunity to commemorate, and celebrate this Kashmir Files movie at the crossroads of the world. Once you're at Times Square, and it's nighttime, it is so difficult to explain the feeling. The feeling of being right there, amidst humanity. I mean, thousands and hundreds and thousands of people, walking across and just looking at what's happening. It seems to be the finger, on the pulse of the United States. Everybody was watching, what was happening. Some people were curiously looking at the ad and trying to figure out, okay, well, what is Kashmir Files? What is the movie about? They were asking us, and sometimes we were able to answer them, and sometimes we were not. But it certainly caught everybody's attention. The people who were walking across Times Square were curiously looking at the ad and trying to figure out what it was. So we recorded some sound bites. We are very thankful to Ashok Vyasji, who was not able to come to film the video bites, but he sent his other co-worker from ITV by the name Kripaji. So Kripaji took the video bites and did a good job in uploading all those video bites over to Vivekji and Pallaviji. Even as we speak, they are now in your possession. So I'm sure you'll do the editing magic and make a wonderful clip out of it. But I wanted to thank everyone who has worked day and night to make this tour possible. Wanted to thank Vivekji and Pallaviji for making this movie on Kashmiri Hindus, and and bringing all these atrocities to people's attention. And third but not the least, we are very excited to have taken these video clips from Times Square with our Kashmir Files ad on the big Times Square billboard. And it caught the attention of so many people. So many people were wondering what it is, and I think it has built the tempo, and it's built the excitement for the movie to be released at whatever time you decide to release the movie. But the excitement has been built, and the stage has been set for people to now eagerly wait for the movie to be released. So thank you all very much, and keep doing the wonderful work that you have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohanji. You're always amazing. The level of energy, commitment, and dedication is phenomenal. Thank you very much. And I know that Times Square is running after the ad is being played 10 times an hour, and it will continue. It will continue next 2 days. And this is a big thing on the eve of on Independence Republic Day of India. So it coincides with that and the release of the movie, earlier release date of the movie. So that is thumbs up, great job. So now at this note, let me invite, so our roadshow started from Long Island, New York, and basically from there it moved to Edison, New Jersey. So in Edison, New Jersey, we have a coordinator with us, Ganesh Ramakrishnanji. So Ganesh Ramakrishnanji, floor is yours. Kindly introduce yourself. I don't want to give any wrong introduction about you. And then whatever you want to share, please go ahead. Thanks.
Namaste. Thank you, Surendraji. And the Edison show was like a perfect reminder of how content is always the king. So first it started with, we had initially a relaunch of Buddha in a traffic jam when Vivekji and Pallaviji had come here. So that itself had created a buzz around the content itself. The way the thematic, the artistic finesse that Vivekji and Pallaviji brings to the table. So the second, immediately he opened up the other file called the Tashkent files, right? So I remember in one of the cold nights in New Jersey, we were like watching the Tashkent files. I was just, we had a group of friends, and then there was very, set of people who had come and they were like watching this, and everybody were like piqued, their interest were piqued, and they were like communicating that, oh, this is a beautiful film. So then that time itself, this Kashmir Files was in his thought at that time when he had come here. And next came the real, what I call the poetic justice, or the start of the poetic justice, to a very big cause. And the movie, why I'm bringing the content is always the king. And because that gets all of us together, that gets the right people together, that gets all the right thinking people. Even if you look at considering moderates within the Kashmir, all of them being impacted by this was whitewashed for a long time. I don't need to go into the history and all that stuff, but the content again is very important for us to get all the people, community, right-minded thinking people together. So why this docudrama is a chilling reminder, and I think Mohanji put it pretty well. He was talking about how people were impacted by after the screening. I could see people with moist eyes, people, everybody of us had tears on our eyes, right? And this was also a very riveting movie. We obviously we had written something about the India's version of Schindler's List. So we had very good volunteers of, obviously the leadership of Sunilji, and we had Anilji, who were like always there. And whenever I call Surinderji, even on a vacation, he will pick up the call. So that was the, we call and sung where jahan apekshit wahi upasthit. So that is why, he's always there, and we have always had the pleasure of working with Mohan ji. And Nirja ji, obviously, she is always there for any kind of causes. So we also have Satya ji here. So we have a very good team always. Whenever we had one theater booked, and all of a sudden, because of the buzz that created, we wanted to keep it very strategic. We didn't want to go all over the board and do it, because I know these theaters would not be enough. Immediately it spilled out to other theater, and other theater was also full. So we had two theaters that day, and it was all a beautiful amount of attendance, and then people were like glued to the seats. So we also had in New Jersey, we had the mayor of New Jersey come, obviously through some very good efforts from our friends and all that. And the some of the people who are non-Indians who also saw that the work of Kashmir Files, what it intended to do, which in the movie the protagonists say that it's an info war or the narrative war, is the work will start now, because this could be a perfect case study for people in the humanities or human rights who consider the right thinking people. This could be a showcase. This could be a case study for people to really do that, because this talks about facts and figures. It talks about real time stories. And I would also, most of us, we always, we pay attention to the artistic finesse. So the cross-cutting thematic style of Vivek ji and the actors, the splendid actors, what you call the Anupam ji, Pallavi ji, and the Punit ji and all that. Even in fact, I would say probably Anupam ji had to do a little bit of method acting also. He's gone too deeply empathetically into the role. He can really relate with that. So these are some of the things that the narrative, this is the future is, and even currently and then the future is a narrative war. So what we have to do is to be able to showcase this to the lawmakers. We should be able to showcase this to right-minded people, right-minded organizations. Have a coalition with Buddhists. Have a coalition with many people, many other organizations, even right-thinking other people who are always of the Jewish people. They will be able to relate with that. If we take this movie can be a stepping stone for us to take this and showcase this to the whole this thing. With that, I would like to thank each one of the volunteers who helped us tremendously. For us, really getting our crowd, getting our people, it was actually not, we have done this many a times, but the content is the king, as I say. That is what it gets, because we had the star cast of Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and Mitunda also, and Edison. So this was really a great way to bring people together. But also the volunteers helped tremendously at any point of time. The leadership of Surinder ji was like awesome, and then we kept it going. So Nirja ji was always there, and Anil ji, and we had every volunteers helped us tremendously. So thank you so much, and I hope Vivek ji keeps opening all the files. And I think this is the start of the files. So it is like a poetic justice for the overall narrative war. Thank you so much. Jai Hind and Happy Republic Day.
Thank you, Ganeshi. You are always humble but firm. That's very a good quality of a leader. Yes, Anil Kachuji has been working as a volunteer. He is a GKPD coordinator from New Jersey. Definitely, Nirjaji, she is the international coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora, and has immensely helped in this journey. And besides Satyaji, you already mentioned, and I know there are many others, possibly you might have forgotten to name them, but I'm pretty sure there are others. So thank you so much. So at this note, I will now invite another dynamic leader who is an eminent scientist. And he's also the coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora from Washington, D.C. area. So from New Jersey, our road show went to DC area, where Mohan Vanchuji was coordinating it with other volunteers. So Mohanji has been also associated with a lot of presentations with the lawmakers in DC area. So, Mohanji, floor is yours. Please share your thoughts with us.
Uh, Thank you so much, Surendraji, for your kind words. Uh, First of all, as coordinator for Washington, DC screening for this movie, I want to, first of all, thank DC organizer Swapna Rana, who did an immense contribution in all aspects, including the fundraising campaign and public campaign. And also want to acknowledge the contributions from other members, including Krishna Gudapati, Siddharth Ambardar, Anil Kaul, Nassim Rubin, and many others. I'm just naming a few. And whatever we achieved in terms of success has been the leadership provided by Surendraji at the center level, and also the contributions which was made by the entire team. So thank you all. When coming to the movie, I don't know what to say. I always feel numb about it. This happened when I watched the movie. This is happening now. In a world when the trend in Bollywood is to always romanticize, sanitize, or sometimes justify terrorism, always giving you the impression that terrorism is because there were police excesses. In that world, in that trend, I saw for the first time a movie director, Vivekji, along with Pallavi, daring to be politically incorrect, daring to show you the mirror, which many people hate to see because they see the ugly truth about Kashmiri Pandit genocide and forced exodus. In our DC area, when this was, first we had an event at Capitol Hill for the lawmakers and influencers. And the next day when we had the screening at the hall, we had a very diverse crowd, diverse, ethnicities and different people of different color, different of communities. And at the movie, from most of them I heard, are you real? Did this really happen? How could it happen in this world in today's day and age, in so-called democratic and secular India? But the fact is, scar was there. I know Pallavi and Vivekji is going to get a lot of criticism when this movie gets finally out in India. Because as I said, mirror for truth is very ugly to look at. But for Kashmiri Pandits, none of that armchair criticism from anyone, intellectual, film critic, or anybody, means anything, because I really did not see a movie. When I talked to Kashmiri Pandits, they said, what movie are you talking about? Which screenplay? Which direction? There was none. It was just almost a camera being shown on what happened to me, what happened to my brothers, sisters, what happened to my family, what happened to my neighbors, what happened to my community. Where is the movie? And to me, that was the biggest compliment that could be given to a brilliant screenplay by Vivekji and brilliantly directed by him, and obviously brilliantly acted by all the actors here. That was the biggest tribute, I could say that. Now, we have all heard about, people talking about, well, I can give you this lecture or that lecture about this topic and that topic, and there must be political, motivation. But it's all fluff for a Kashmiri Pandit, because nobody talked about us. The world stayed silent, always. And in this movie, for the first time in our community, we saw somebody just putting camera on us. That's all. That's all it was. I did not see a single dialogue in the movie, a single shot in the movie, or any aspect of the screenplay where you could say, well, there's a fictional aspect to that, or somebody exaggerated that. It is just as it happened. And I hope that message gets through to those who have still not watched the movie, particularly in India, that yes, you will have critics around there, but truth is truth. And Pallavi and Vivek dared to tell the world the truth. And I just really want to thank them both for the immense contribution they have done. I want to thank Surendraji for coming up with the idea in the first place and executing it so beautifully. Highly challenging issue, highly challenging, where we all have struggled sometimes get frustrated. It's just part of the having a campaign at a national level. But all the tribute to all of you who have done it in different cities. Like rest of the US, Washington, DC was swept off with this movie. People were numb. Some people tried to hide their tears, to be honest. Some people openly cried. And some people simply broke down when they left the hall, including some members of my own family. That is just the truth. That is just the truth about the movie. So once again, thank you, everybody. Just want to end it here that this movie needed to be made. Truth needed to be said, not only for us, for the generations as well. This is history for the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohanji. You're always very crisp. Your words are very loaded, and you conveyed it in just few minutes. You conveyed the whole thing so brilliantly. Thank you so much for your leadership, Mohanji. So moving next is our roadshow went to Atlanta. And we again have a very humble leader from Atlanta, Venkat Sridharji. He is an entrepreneur and a selfless worker. So I know we had Surinder Darji also working with you. He is the GKPD coordinator from Atlanta. But I'm happy that they said that no, it should be Venkatji who should be speaking. So I really like that thing, that display of brotherhood and the unity. So floor is yours, Venkatji. Please share your thoughts.
Namaste all. Thank you, Surendraji, for all your leadership and wish you happy all Republic Day. So, I mean, in Georgia, we started with Georgia Tech. In Georgia Tech, we had a talk from all the students from Georgia Tech and Georgia State were there due to, so they're very thankful. The volunteer for the Georgia Tech was Charu Chaturvedi and Richa Bhumia. It was a wonderful talk. And most of the students are first generation from America and who doesn't know anything about Kashmir genocide. So they're very thankful to have had an opportunity to meet with and listen to Vivek Agnotriji. It was wonderful to hear and speak to them and bring to the plight of Kashmiri Hindus into the light, into general feedback from the students. And it was shocking for them and gave them inspirations to learn more about history of Kashmiris and spread awareness about it. So it's mainly about the students who didn't know about what is Kashmiri genocide. So it gave a full insight for them and they were very happy. And some of the students couldn't attend due to many exams were going on. So coming back to the movies, like we had a very good feedback from all the people. Everybody came with positive reviews, not a single person with slight negative things. All the audience loved and engrossed with the movie. Everyone moved with these movies. And particularly from Kashmir, again, they echoed the incidents and validated the content of the movie, the content of movie. And myself, like my colleague, who had a real experience, his father was a professor, and night they came to AK-47 because his father was professor. They just told him to vacate night, so or else he would not have lived. So we had a real incidents. So they shared the incidents happened with them and their family members, and most of people started crying in Atlanta. The Kashmiri Pandits. Everything one emotionally they moved, and a lot of American people started. A lot of American people came for this movie, and they were shocked. And they commented that never published in this media. And Dr. Rich Mechanic, the congressman, who stands for Hindu community, and he told he's going to talk about this and he's going to bring into the into the lawmakers. And also we had a peace march, like from Gandhi to the Martin Luther King centers. The march started from Gandhi statue to the King centers. It was attended by the Gandhi Foundation members and the King Memorial Foundation members, who are the key people for the peace. And they are the members who can express, they can hear what happened to the Kashmiri genocide. And they were shocked seeing this movie. And the movie had a real content, which is real story, and which is people express thing. So I want to thank for the Surendra Dar and their family, and Sanjay Ketan, then Dr. Naresh Parikh, and Kashmir Pandit group and other peoples who volunteered this. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkateshwarji. Thank you so much. So let's move forwards.
And
So
also
next from
we did a live on the Facebook on Kashmiri group. In Atlanta group, there are 40,000 people are there, and there were 3,000 people viewed the talks of in Georgia Tech, and people started calling, and still they wanted to watch the movie on February 26th. Still they're messaging for them to when the release of the movie. So it reached a lot of audience in Atlanta.
Thank you, Venkatji, for your leadership, for your volunteerism. From Atlanta, our roadshow moved to Boston, and basically Boston, we had Abhishek Singh ji leading this whole effort there. And I don't think he's here, but let me have a look one more time on all the panelists. Yes, I don't see him here. So Abhishek ji is the very youngest activist in our group, very much dedicated with a lot of commitment. He did an amazing job, not only in the community screening, which was house food, and was also attended by lots of Americans and also lawmakers. He also was instrumental in organizing this impact event in Harvard Club, at Massachusetts University, and Rhode Island College. And he was very much instrumental in getting a resolution passed from Rhode Island State, and also felicitations from the governor of Massachusetts. So thank you, Abhishek Singh ji, for your leadership, and you have a wonderful and amazing team in Boston. He's the president of FIA New England, and a very dedicated team who continue to work towards lots of causes, including the Kashmir files. So moving from Boston, our road show moved to Raleigh, and Raleigh we had Dr. Sankarji, who single-handedly managed this show in Raleigh. Dr. Sankarji is a very eminent cancer surgeon, a very busy man, and is very much involved in philanthropy and charity. So, Sankarji, floor is yours. Please share your thoughts. Let me check. I saw him.
He's there.
He's there.
He's still on mute.
Can you unmute yourself, Doctor? We want to hear you. Okay, maybe he's busy. So
Yeah.
let us.
Can
Are
I-
you there? Oh yeah, here is the man.
Dr. Kaushik, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
cannot see you. Can you turn on your camera if it's okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Start the video. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, it's now better. Yes, we can hear you very loud and clear.
Dr. Kaulji, thank you for your kind words. To all of you, brothers and sisters, very, very happy Republic Day. Coming to three major things. I'm a proud Hindu, son of Bharat. I will do anything, everything what I can to help any cause of in relation to our Bharat, particularly our Hindu brothers and sisters. Vivek, I know him very well. I know where he stands and what he stands for. He is a warrior. He is an everyday warrior. He is on warpath with the internal enemies in Bharat. That way I know him for a long time. And anytime, any day, whatever Vivek needs, he has our complete support from our community in this area and all the friends and all the network I have. Let's start with you, Dr. Kaulji. You are working every single day. Talking to you, I know that when it last 6 weeks when it happened. But every day you are participating in all the discussions and trying to make things happen. And salute you and Sunil ji and all others we mentioned earlier. What a tremendous work. As we know, individually, we all know we go to great heights. We achieve a lot. We know that from our stories. But collectively, we have been not done very well. As Hindus together, as a country together, we always gotten weaker and weaker by conflicts and we're not able to come together strongly. But this event, Kashmir Files, showing it has shown tremendous amount of coherence, coordination, giving hands to everyone, making it a huge success. So this is an example of how much you can do if you get together. And the other day I was talking to you, this should kind of help us to make this a brotherhood or sisterhood grow stronger and stronger so we can do a lot more things in the future. That's one thing. And in the rally, as soon as you call me, Vivek called me, we were ready for that. And particularly in this area, a lot of people helped me. And I want to mention a few names. Srinivas, Aramanda, Srikant, Shirish, Asha, Vikram, and some other kids. They worked a lot to make this, made this show in Raleigh very successful. Every member who attended the show, our community members, and we had some Afro-American and also from Caucasians came, they were touched deeply in their hearts about the Kashmir Files. The movie itself, it's a phenomenal movie. There's never going to be one more Kashmir Files. And I see movies very rarely, I pick and choose. And probably this is the greatest movie of a human story. Whenever we get this movie released, I have the tremendous faith that it's going to shake the world with this, the story, the gravity of the sadness and how much our Kashmiri brothers and sisters went through. I think this is going to make truth to come out and wake up the world, particularly anti-Hindu world. And we are getting stronger by just bringing the truth out. So Vivekji and Pallaviji and all the team, you have taken lots of risk to make this movie. First of all, as Vivekji had encountered before, he created a lot of enemies by just doing what is right. Because by default, 70 to 80% of our Hindus are weak and they don't speak, they don't come out. Only few come out and talk. And he is one of the rarest one who always stands for the truth. And we know we have a lot of internal enemies in India. So that's a power. When we have that 80 to 90% of people waking up and watching, that's the power of your message. And every scene of the movie, every actor, what a work. I think this movie should earn Oscar award in every department, particularly for Vivekji as a writer, and screenplay and director, and most of the actors, particularly Pallavi, I think you deserve the world's best award for the filmmaking and the storytelling. And I wish they recognize this on that level. You deserve it, highly. Coming to going forward, I request all of you, let us be cohesive. And we have shown that you can put forward a tremendous task and you have made it very successful. And I salute all of you. And let us work on going forward. This will be our invigorating, a powerful source of inspiration. And for Kashmiri brothers and sisters, anything you need from our community, from me particularly, I'm ready to go. Thank you all, and happy Republic Day.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for a strong message. And on behalf of community, we immensely thank you for your very kind gesture towards our community and towards us. So from Raleigh, our road show went to Chicago, and Chicago was all ready and set with a big team. And I can see a smile on Rakesh Malhotra ji. And so the Chicago road show was done under the leadership of Rakesh Malhotra ji, who is again an entrepreneur. He is a poet. He's the president of FIA Chicago. And that's a big thing. And congratulations on that. And I should also mention that I know that Rakesh ji had a very strong team there working with them, and he's going to name them. But I would like to make mention about Abhinav Rana ji. He's one of the youngest activists. He is the director of Kashmiri Overseas Association from Chicago. So those who don't know, Kashmiri Overseas Association is one of our very oldest and fine social organization, which has helped the community, especially during exile, especially for downtrodden who were the weaker section of the community in helping them. So on that note, I would like to invite Rakesh ji. Floor is yours. Go ahead.
Namaste and Vande Mataram, everyone. Greetings on the Republic Day. Here in Chicago, it's a Republic Day Eve. For India, it's a Republic Day. So congratulations and greetings to everyone. So Surendra ji, thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak. I have 4 minutes and I have divided the entire conversation into 4 parts, in 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is Vivek. Second quadrant will be volunteer. Third quadrant will be visibility. And fourth is victory. So under 4 V's, I'm going to talk about my experience. So let's begin with Vivek ji. I have never seen ever such a responsible director from Bollywood who is honest, proud Indian, and who is all for the cause, who is all for the consciousness. And in the word of fake narratives, he creatively created the content. Somebody said content is important. Content becomes important when it is creative and honest and sincere, and it has the courage. So when we say that the movie should get an Oscar, I will not undermine the creativity, the direction, the screenplay, everything by just saying that if he gets Oscar, then it will become. I can tell you with confidence, the Oscar will get credibility if this movie goes to Oscar. So it's other way around. And at the same time, if you look at the movie, attention to detail, and he created a scenario from ignorance to awareness. During this entire journey, I come across with many journalists, many intellectuals who has no idea, and to most part, including me, we have no idea about what happened in Kashmir and what is the real truth. We have all been misled by those fake narratives. And then in the movie itself, when they say that जब जनता को मीडिया का पता लगेगा तो वो आपको उठा के फेंक देंगे सड़कों पे. तो मैंने विवेक जी को बताया कि तालियां बज रही, ही वाज सरप्राइज कि हॉल के अंदर तालियां क्यों बज रही. तो तालियां तब बजी जब मीडिया की बात हुई तो पीपल वर क्लैपिंग. एंड एट द सेम टाइम मैंने कभी भी आंसुओं को मुस्कुराते हुए नहीं देखा. I have never seen कि people are tearing and smiling. ये आंसू खुशी के थे, ये आंसू उम्मीद के थे, ये आंसू एक आस थी कि न्याय मिलेगा. क्योंकि सच को जानना और सच को वेरीफाई करना और सच को दिखाना और सच को कहना, सच कड़वा था, बरसों से चुप था, वक्त की गर्द उस पर चढ़ती रही, जख्म गहरे थे कभी भर नहीं पाए, चुभन दर्द की हर दिन बढ़ती रही, झूठ ने चाहा था इतिहास को मिटाना, दिशाएं उसकी रोज बदलती रहीं, आखिर तो सच को सामने आना था, तारीख 31 बरस तक रुकी. When it comes to gratitude, I will start with thanking first of all to all those people who volunteer their time and interview their story with Vivek ji. So my salute to all Kashmiri Pandits who have gone through the pain, tears and fear, and yet they had the courage to interview with Vivek ji. My thanks to Vivek ji, Pallavi ji and Malika ji for taking the courage and, touring the 18 cities under the COVID. And it's not easy. And again, as I said, I have never seen any responsible, courageous director ever. Now, people want to replicate. I have been approached by some filmmakers, some book launcher, and they wanted to do the same Kashmir story as we are running an event management company. But Kashmir file was, it was a package. Nobody can replicate. So one part was the movie. The other part was, when we are talking about the movie should get an Oscar, I also feel that Vivek ji should get the Padma Bhushan next time, because with the movie, he has created an impact. He was the true, honest, proud Indian and Indian brand ambassador who talked about, with each event, he talked about humanity. He talked about India to be Vishwa Guru again. He talked about the Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. He talked about the oneness. He talked about the heritage of Kashmir. He talked about the Sharda University. He talked about the Shiva. So who can promote India, the soft power of India? So thank you so much, Pallavi ji and Vivek ji. And you have really made us proud. And now I come to the second V, volunteers. I have Abhinav ji and Hemant ji, who is also an executive vice president of the Federation of Indian Association. And as you rightly said, I have been fortunate that we have the team, and that team was only focused on execution. We know the plan is coming, everything is there, and the success was depending on not on us. We did our best, honestly, to execute, but it was the cause, it was the consciousness, and people connect with the cause, people connect with the concern, people connect with the honesty. Typically, whenever the movie comes, people come for Bollywood star. They wanted to see Mithun or they wanted to see Anupam Kher. We didn't have Anupam Kher or Mithun ji here. What we had is the cause, the real story, the honesty, and the aura of Vivek ji and his, because, it is not just he created the movie. He has worked 4 years before. And you look at I Am Buddha Foundation, you look at, the Buddha in Traffic Jam, the Tashkent Files, and so many times, if you look at his Twitter handle, he's been talking to community. So credibility was there, so which helped us in getting a lot of visibility and success with the volunteers. People come forward on their own, whether it's a, Hindu organization, whether it's a non-Hindu organization, whether it's a Kerala organization or a Telangana organization or a Sikh organization or a Maharashtra Mandal or a Jewish organization or a non-Indian American associations. They were all with us. So visibility was because of the cause, because of the consciousness. And when it comes to victory, as I said, the victory is in the form of two things. It was right to justice tour. So there is a hope when people were having no idea what is the difference between exodus and genocide. People will get to know the difference. And if it is a genocide, so who is going to wipe the tears and bring the smile to the faces? As I said in the beginning, people were tearing, they were numb, but at the same time, there was a hope. There was hope that they will get their dignity back. And there was an inspiration that people will be more courageous they are not going to stay quieter any longer, because it is a story about the courage and the resilience. And I feel the movie should have been, if there are 4 screens, we would have filled the 4 screen. There are people, and the wow moment is that when Vivek ji said, you know, Rakesh, मेरे भी 4-5 friend हैं, 7-8 friends हैं, उनके लिए seat रख देना. Trust me, there was no single seat. We said बुला लेते हैं, and people come, and people were sitting on the stairs. And if there are 2 halls, trust me, we would have fill it without any difficulty. So my gratitudes and thanks to Dr. Surinder Kaul ji, whose vision, क्योंकि दृष्टि के साथ दृष्टिकोण होना भी बहुत जरूरी है, तो whose vision, whose credibility, whose dedication inspired us, and we only executed what has been given to us by Dr. Kaul. And the entire team of volunteers under the Kashmir file, this group, I am indebted and thankful to each and every one of you for making this happen. Thanks from the Chicago team, and thanks to my Chicago team. They have been very, and I will like to say a few names one more time. Abhinav Raina ji, Soman Dhar ji, Hemant Patel ji, Amar Upadhyay ji, and Nirmala Reddy ji. She worked diligently with full of dedication. Kitni raatein humne lagayi har ek cheez ke upar. So thank you so much, and greetings for Republic.
Thank you, Rakesh ji. By the way, our social media was filled up, and your contribution was immense with your stylish vocabulary and Hindi, very tasteful. Thanks for keeping this journey moving through your pen, very strong pen. So from Chicago, our road show went to mountains, to Denver. And in Denver, if there is an example, if anybody asks me, what's an example of a great volunteer, a great thinker, a great doer, he is Yashodhanji. Yashodhanji is a very eminent scientist, very humble, very firm, and he not only did along with Praveen Gupta ji in Denver, but also did impact events in Denver University. And floor is yours, Yashodhanji.
Thank you very much, and I'm pleased and I'm humbled by the introduction given by Dr. Surinder Kaul. I must say that a lot of impactful personalities around the table, and I'm rather mendicant, I must say that. So, but it was an exemplary experience. It was a great film. And I would also try to layer it in 4 categories. One of the important category why the movie was great was research. The amount of research Vivekji has put in this particular movie, the amount of number of people he has made, number of NGOs he contacted, number of thought processes, and the amount of churning of the thoughts which he has done before developing the script, that really shows. That's why movie is very, very realistic. Movie is very, very impactful. And if somebody will ask me tomorrow if there is one director in Bollywood who is a researcher, then I will say that it's Vivek Agnihotri for sure. Another very important thing which I found was the role of academia and the role of the media which this movie brings out in order to shape and turn the narratives. We all know that Department of Humanities in most of the universities across the world are work on the cultural Marxism and the Gramscian theory, and the way in which those narratives percolate and the way in which those narratives affected the Kashmiri Hindu and Indian community. The person who was raising and hoisting the Indian flag there, the film brings out very nicely, and we should share, Vivekji should share that credit with Pallaviji as well, because the way in which she acted, and she has portrayed that character of an academician who is trying to always twist and turn the narratives, it makes we will simply hate her for her character in the movie, and we will like her for her acting. So it was very impactful performance by Pallaviji, and it was very impactful film. Coming to the impact of the movie, many of us have mentioned about the first generation Americans, and many of the first generation Americans, they didn't simply know the story of Kashmir, and they were simply moved and touched by the experience. And then the amount of the truth and the narratives which they learned in their universities, they read in the media, it completely changed within those 3 hours. And we had several first generation Americans coming up to us and youth telling us that it was a very impactful movie. And there are incidences, cultural incidences and the political incidences in the history of the humanity who changed the human beings. But I would say there is one film named The Kashmir Files, which has an ability to make an ordinary human being like me. It can transform an ordinary human being into a volunteer and an activist and a karyakarta. And that's why this movie is very, very important. Everybody has mentioned that this movie should get an award, and Vivekji, I'm sure one day he'll get a Padma Bhushan. I'm very confident about that. But I would also say that this movie will bring the reality in front of the people, and may the Kashmiri Hindu community, who has been always peaceful, get a Nobel Peace Prize for their peacefulness and the way in which they handled the entire very tragic circumstance which came onto that community. I would also like to thank a lot of volunteers here. I would like to thank Praveen Gupta ji. I would like to thank our Professor Ved Nanda ji, who attended the Denver University event. And it was a very impactful seminar which Vivek ji and Pallavi ji delivered there on the topic of the terrorism. I would also like to thank our other volunteers from Friends of India, Colorado. They really made the movie successful. And thank you very much to everyone. And thanks for involving us in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Yashodhanji. Always smiling, always calm. Thank you so much. Well, from Denver, our road show moved to Dallas. And in Dallas, again, we had a strong team under the leadership of Bhupinder Munshi. Bhupinder ji is a very humble volunteer, has been associated with lots of causes which impacts Bharat and Kashmir as well. He was joined by Rajiv Pandit ji from HAF. I'm pretty sure we have many other volunteers that contributed. So, Bhupinder ji, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Surinder ji, for the opportunity. I don't know what to say. Everything that I wanted to say has already been said by different speakers so far. I can just start by saying that I was just driving down and one of the weekends on my regular weekend errands I was running, and suddenly my phone rang and I see the phone number that I did not recognize, and then I saw it was Surinder ji on the other side, and he gave me a little brief about what Kashmir Files is, and obviously I had heard about it before. And he told me that you know what the plan is and how it is being done, and how we are planning a roadshow in United States in different cities. And he asked me he would like me to handle the Dallas part of it, and if I wanted to do it. And I was very much you know, I don't know, humbled by his confidence in me that he chose me to handle Dallas. And that started the journey. And I was kind of, you know, when you get such a big responsibility, didn't know what to do. Did a little bit of research on the movie, and then I contacted my team here with whom I work on issues like this. And everybody was all in, and everybody was so excited that we're going to get to do this. And we were pretty excited that, you know, we have this opportunity to do this. And then we found out, and I put together a team, and I would like to thank many of my team members who were here. And first I thought the most important, the most active participant who was with me and worked, in fact, more than I did, was Dr. Rajiv Pandit. And unfortunately, he's not here today. He had another meeting that he had already committed to, so he could not be here today, but he was the one who was doing most of the groundwork along with me. including, picking up Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and their lovely daughter from the airport and chauffeuring them around town and making sure that they get to their hotel and to the theater and back and forth and everything. Besides Rajiv ji, I had a very active set of volunteers, Dr. Krishna Puttaparthi ji, Anu Benekati ji, and some of my other Kashmiri Pandit friends who were also involved in making this happen. But these are the main people, and some of the other Kashmiri Pandits, as I said, they were also involved with me in this adventure. Coming to the movie, I don't know, I can add anything new than what has been said already. As somebody else said before, it didn't feel like that we are watching a movie. It felt like that there is a camera which has been put on our lives, and somebody finally, even after a wait of 30 years, has decided to tell the world the truth, what happened to us and who did it. And I was very particular about, at least in my own community, I'm talking about Kashmiri Pandits, to bring kids to watch the movie, because our kids must know, they must know what really happened to us. As we saw in the movie itself, the kid whose family had actually suffered so much directly, and how that kid was getting brainwashed by the media and the academia on who the real culprit is. So we can only, because our kids are not in the same environment as the kids maybe back home in India, and our kids have gone to the universities, and American universities are leftist bastions. And I can see that in my own son, in my own child. So I can see that how, after studying 4 years and now doing his master's. So in doing studying in 5 to 7 years in American universities, how it kind of changes your worldview, and it kind of changes how you see situations like that, and how you try to compare everything that happened to Kashmiri Pandits with every other trouble spot in the world, and say, hey, this wasn't that bad, this wasn't this bad. We have done more atrocities and stuff like that. So I think that way, this film has done a great favor to us as a community, and it has done a great favor to India, I would say, by showing the reality, actual reality, what happened and who did it. Instead of trying to romanticize and put a love story together and have a song and dance, and which we were used to from Bollywood. And I have to really commend Vivek ji and Pallavi ji for making this film. And I pray to God every day that God bless them, keep them safe. I'm sure they have made a lot of enemies. And when Vivek ji speaks, I would request him to address something to that. How is he taking care of his personal security and security for his family? Because we are really, really want him to be safe and healthy and keep making wonderful movies like these in the times to come. Thank you once again, Surinder ji, for your leadership and for the trust that you put in me in making this happen. I hope I did not disappoint.
You were outstanding. Thank you. Thanks all your team members. So from Dallas, we moved to Austin. And if someone asks me, you'll see, I was in Austin and I got to see Venu Upalaji, who was leading the efforts in Austin. And I was amazed to see his work, his selflessness, his humbleness, and his leadership. So Venu Upalaji, thank you so much. Floor is yours. Please share your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Surinder ji, for giving me opportunity. Happy Republic Day for everyone. Yeah. Coming to the movie, like Austin NRS are so fortunate to be part of the Mahayagna for right to justice, the victim of Kashmir genocide of Kashmir Pandit. Like we know well, just our contribution is very small, but we are so thankful to Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and Surinder ji for all other coordinators and who are contributed for this movie successfully for making and viewing. This is a movie based on the true story, based on the true story when the interviews are taken, everything like uh, like uh, spending the time with the people and taking the interviews and mm, making the movie such to viewable format to all the uh, not only Indian but to the world, show the what happened to the Kashmir Pandits. That is a very very good initiative, and they made it very properly. And even some of the Kashmir values, we even we are proud Hindus, but we miss something. We haven't gone through so much things. What is the Kashmir reality for Hinduism? That in the movie they shown very 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 well. Uh, and coming to the movie in Austin, the pre-release screening was happened on the 19th December at Southwest Theaters. Around 130 people were attended. Like a lot of people were interested to watch the movie, but we have only limited seats. Uh, Only watched 130 people, but the everybody was very emotional, and some of the victims of the genocide also watched the movie. They were very very appreciated Vivek ji, and they cried a lot in the movie. And since the movie was almost too much for them, right? Then they were very very associated, and they were given the like reviews, and like the reviews were very amazing. like uh, they talked about how they feel. And after that we had a impact session by Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and Surinder ji was a part of that impact session. For that impact session also, 60 people attended. uh, in the evening event, we also having the dinner with that all the 15 families. And when we are in the event, uh, the they Surinder ji and they played the interviews, real person who was the interviewer in the movie. When we matched it, like I was totally heartbroken. And like a lot of people was very thankful to Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and Surinder ji to make this movie success. And coming to my my story, when I was in the child, I was listening the stories about 1990 genocide. But I I was, when I was child, my village is very local to not Hyderabad, but then I was always thinking to, I want to meet Kashmir Pandit. How was that? I want to take what is the experience. But when I came to US, the last 2 years back, there is we had a 30th anniversary of Kashmir genocide excel. That we had a candlelight. That we when I met them, they are very peaceful. I was thinking they'll scold, and they will do wanted to do something. But when I was listening them, I was totally yeah, oh, this is a community need, not for only India, not for the one place. This community be role model for world. I was amazed. And then I was in my heart, and my pain is there. Like, how to this has to go out to the world to show this happen. And then the movie came. Like, I was really like saw the movie, like exactly what was I felt. This was my feeling, and most of the Austin people are given the reviews. And like we have before I ending the my talk, like we have a bigger question: what is the real justice for those victims, and what is the punishment to those terrorists who are involved? That is big questions I always in my mind. But what I'm every human being must watch this movie and support, then only the real justice will be happen. This is one aspect, but what is a real aspect? I want to listen from the Kashmir Pandit, like the making, not only for one person or two person, like the community has to make announcement. This is my real justice meant. That's what I was thinking. And I was fortunate to lead this effort, and I my like actually, like there is another event was simultaneously going. We have short of volunteers, but only with 5 volunteers we completed every. I think we worked for 1 or 2 weeks, like completely dedicated, and along with me, Ashwinji and Anilji and Alkeshji and a few other volunteers worked. Thank you for everyone who supported for this cause. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Venuji. Thank you so much for your kind words. Next, from Austin, Vivekji and Pallavi came to Houston, and here we had an impact event at Mecca Center. And I should thank Pramod Burawali-ji, Achalesh Amarji, and Anand Srivastav-ji, who were taking a lead, and Anjali Rana-ji in coordinating that impact event. So we had to bypass the community screening in Houston because we had Mithunda who had committed for the community screening in LA. So we had to fly them from Houston to LA, where our Sunil Agarwal ji, the brilliant Sunil Agarwal ji, was handling the fort. So Sunil Agarwal ji has been so humble, so dedicated, so committed right from the day one. When I shared with him about the plans, he was on the go. So Sunil Agarwal ji, I know you also had a very strong team in LA. So floor is yours. Sunil ji?
Yeah, just I was unmuting. Sorry
Okay.
for the delay. नमस्कार everyone. आप सभी को गणतंत्र दिवस की शुभकामनाएं और अभिनंदन. Thank you for picking such an auspicious day for today's webinar. My name is Sunil Agarwal. I am an IT professional involved in many organizations and stand for the cause. It was a unique experience while screening the Kashmir files in Los Angeles. First time we saw so many wet eyes with a lot of questions, disbelief, and despair. Thank you, the Kashmir Files entire team, for bringing a true, cruel, and inhuman story of extraordinary but helpless humans to the big screen. It opened our eyes, it broke our heart, and gave a glimpse of what can happen to a peaceful community overnight who believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam. It needs guts to make such a movie where Bollywood narrative is against the spirit of Sanatan Dharma and Hindus. Today, Vivekji and Pallavi-ji stand very tall in our eyes. Salute to such brave and honest soul. Mithunda also came for the screening. That was a highlight of our screening. We booked a movie hall of 410 capacity, but it was not enough. We had to say no to hundreds of people. That shows how much appeal this movie generated among the Indian diaspora across the communities. Despite heavy rain, it was a houseful. I believe this movie will be blockbuster and it will encourage more directors to become brave enough like Vivekji. At the end of the movie, we auctioned Om locket and glasses which were used in the movie. Aishwarya Nidhi and Mohan Chopra won the auction. It was just a way to say thank you what you are doing under I Am the Buddha Foundation. Any successful event has two main ingredients, the volunteers and donors. I would like to thank you all our volunteers, Kanak Singh Jhala, Neeraj Kasalkar, Gaurav Bhargava, Arun Dutt, Rui Haq, Manmohan Chopra, and many others. Our sponsoring organizations were American Hindu Federation, United Indian American Association, Hope Will It, SMAP, Radhika, ARO, Step to Step, and many others. Our main donors were Kirit Patel, Kamlesh Chauhan, Dr. Ram and Eva Sareen, Kanak Singh Jhala, Gaurav and Reena Bhargava, Jayant Niturkar, Rami and Seema Sagarkar, and many more. We also had hosted Impact event, which was led by Rui Haq. Thank you, Rui, for Impact event. Today, we are celebrating, Bharat is celebrating Gantan Divas. Today, all Bhartiyas are able to celebrate Republic Day because of the sacrifice of millions of Bhartiyas since the 7th century. Salute to all those sacrifices. But future celebrations will depend upon how Bharat survives demographic changes. We saw what happened in Kashmir through Vivekji's film, The Kashmir Files. Attacks against Hindus have not stopped, and now it has become global. So there is no guarantee that there will be no more Kashmir happening to Hindus. A united stand is needed. Unity, spirit, and coordination we have showed during the movie screening should continue. India has been a cultural and spiritual Rashtra for centuries and should remain so. So let's continue cooperation and stay connected. Once again, thank you Vivekji, Pallaviji, and the entire team for making such a movie and awakening the masses. You are changing narrative, you are our hero. Thank you Surendraji and Mukesh Modiji for all your coordination. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Namaskar.
Namaste, Sunilji. Thank you so much. So from Southern California, our roadshow went to Northern California and in San Francisco area, where we again had a very dynamic personality leading the efforts. Jeevan Zuchi is also, he's an engineer and also an entrepreneur, also in movie making. And he has been associated with lots of things that impacts Bharat. He is also the coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora from California. Jeevanji, thanks for your leadership. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Surendraji. Let me first of all wish you all a very happy Republic Day of India. Vivek Agnihotri and Palvi Joshi's new film, The Kashmir Files, is a saga of the plight of Kashmiri Hindus, which took many in the US by storm, with special previews and his speeches on the right to justice. Such movies which speak the truth and only the truth and cover historic events have immense power to change the world. That's what has happened in the US already, as so many people got an opportunity to see the plight of Kashmiri Pandits on the big screen, exactly as it happened 32 years ago. Having produced a feature film myself to expose the big pharma industry in the US, I can understand how challenging it can be when you are bringing the truth out to the world. Our San Francisco screening event was almost the last one, and I must confess that we were at an advantage. The movie had already built a tremendous tempo and excitement, and the groundwork was already done. So when we sent invitation to our community members, it was much easier for us to fill the theater. I cannot forget the moment when Vivek and Palviji arrived at about 2 in the afternoon on Monday, December 27th, after starting their journey from Seattle at 3 in the morning. It took them
almost 11 hours of uncertainty and discomfort to travel from Seattle to San Jose, California, a flight which takes an hour and a half normally, but for the extremely very bad weather. In spite of all this, they were smiling, full of energy, and mesmerized the guests who were waiting to see them. Our impact screening, which was co-sponsored by Hindu American Foundation, went very well. We had almost 24 public officials and interfaith leaders who got involved in a serious discussion after watching the short impact movie. A dinner with some key community members also went well, as there was a nice discussion about the way forward. I wish to thank the Board of Directors of Indo-American Community Federation, IACF, and Hindu American Foundation, HAF, who worked together to make the screening very successful. Special thanks to Dr. Ramesh Kanda of IACF and Koshik Machrela of HAF. They did a tremendous job of running around and doing a lot of things. Also, special thanks to Ken Naz for working very hard to change the venue for our screening, as we had to change the date from 24th to 27th December. Thanks to GKPD volunteers, and of course, Dr. Surinder Kaur, who is a dynamic and genuine leader, for giving us the courage as he stayed positive during the entire journey. Thank you all for making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jivanji. I feel very awkward that all the praises for Vivekji and everything, and I'm also being clubbed in that. Thank you so much for your kind words, Jivanji. It's always pleasure talking to you and seeking advice from you. So we did have some issues, because prior to San Francisco, we had an event scheduled in Seattle. And perhaps that was the only spot that created a history in this whole road show. And the same day, there was a snowstorm in Seattle, all flights canceled, everything canceled. Seattle came to stand still. So anyhow, we had to cancel the Seattle screening for that day, but it was done after some days, but it was a spot on. So on this note, actually, the road show came to Houston. That is my backyard. And here we had a big team, a strong team, a creative team, which was led equally by very strong volunteers. So we have Anjali Ranaji, who will be representing the team from the Houston, and let us hear from her. So Anjali Ranaji is also the victim herself of this genocide, and you might have heard her story. So Anjali ji, floor is yours. Thank you so much for your dedicated volunteerism. She is also a very respected member of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora. Floor is yours, Anjali ji.
Thank you, Surinder ji. First of all, namaste to everyone, and happy Republic Day. I feel privileged that I saw the birth of the Kashmir Files. How I got connected with the Kashmir File is back in 2019 when we met Vivekji and Pallaviji about talking my personal story. But once Surinderji, somewhere in October, he mentioned, he did announce to our community that, okay, we have a good news that Vivekji and Pallaviji and the team is coming to US for the US tour for pre-screening of the movie. And that is how I got connected directly and as a volunteer to help for this cause. I would say I did a little bit of it, but the main key volunteers or the coordinators who were doing a tremendous or working tirelessly was Achlesh Amarji, Pramod Burwalji, and Anand Srivastavji, if I'm saying the last name correctly. So they were the key coordinators who were driving the show. I was just like helping there with them, coordinating within the community and helping with the event. So what we did as a part of the coordination, we tried to reach out to people. Pramodji was reaching out to several organizations. There were so many folks who wanted to watch this movie and were interested. So first challenge was campaigning, and it went very successful. We had a very great impact event which happened on 20th of December, Persecution in the Modern Age. And that was led by Dr. Surinder Kaulji. I think it is Adit Kapadia ji. Of course, our director and writer, Mr. Vivek Agnihotri ji and Pallavi ji. So we had a great show that day. It was followed by a dinner. And then we were working towards how to make our grand finale very successful. And it really turned out to be very, very good. We initially had, I think Surinderji had asked for AMC theater in one of our cities, but it was a very small theater. Like I think it has an occupancy of 90 people. However, we had a list of 422 people who wanted to watch this movie. So thank you, Ken Nazji, who did work with Surinder Kaulji and Pramodji back end, and were able to make this, they both were able to make it possible and accommodate that AMC Gulf Point. At the movie, I would say after we finished our registration, we went through campaigning. We had a really a good good flow of all the work we did together. And at the movie, when I went to watch it, because I was right there, I was coordinating along with other coordinators, my heart was palpitating before even going into the theater, because I know what this movie would talk about, because it was going to tell about the stories. However, I did not know that it is going to be that great or how it will unfold. So my heart was palpitating before even it started. So as soon the movie started, I think at every scene, I was feeling so shaken. And it took me back to 1990 as a teenager, when I was right there and what events were happening there. And it was kind of, I felt myself that I am right there. It's picturizing on me, or it has been picturized on me. So towards the end of the movie, we had great reviews. I would read a couple of reviews which we received through text messages, because there were so many different ethnicity watching the movie. We had African Americans, we had, of course, Indians watching the movie. Some of our friends wrote, "Oh my goodness, how could you have happened? And none of us knew about it. Shocking, horrifying, and terrifying, and heartbreaking. The world needs to know this movie." One of the other audience wrote, "Very thought-provoking and a story that needed to be told." Another one wrote, "It seems to show me that India really did not help. How could this happen?" So these were the reviews which we got from, I would say, American friends who did really watch the movie. And for the movie, what I can say, I think everybody has spoken from their heart. They have talked a lot about the Kashmir Files. I would definitely say a few words that this movie is very close to my heart. I thank you, Mr. Vivek Agnihotri ji, Pallavi Joshi ji, the entire team, how they have really picturized this movie, the stories, how they have created this movie, their thought process, how they have portrayed how the academia, how the media can change the narratives, how beautifully they have executed it. And I feel so humbled when Vivek ji called my name, Anjali ji, at the end of the movie. Did we do justice? And yes, Vivek ji, you really did justice to the movie. You really did justice. And this is the first time when truth came to, when the truth was told publicly. So far, we have not heard anyone talking about us, about our exoduses, because everything went under the carpet. And you had courage. You only not did. You only not showed your dedication, hard work, or perseverance. You worked tirelessly. You did a lot of efforts. You did a lot of research, but you stick to that reality, and you did stick to the truth. We know that truth is bitter. It might not go well with everyone. However, we are so grateful and we are so thankful for this movie. And at this note, I would like to thank Dr. Surinder Kaulji, who was driving the show in all cities, coordinating and being available for every phone call which we made and we had questions on about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anjali ji. I want to say much things about you, but because of paucity of time, we need to move ahead. So next speaker, basically, Priya Samanthi. So Priya Samanthi was the impact advisor, worked very hard, and she delivered Capitol Hill, a very successful event in Capitol Hill. She also coordinated with various universities and also personally went to LA to participate in an impact program that she had designed. She could not come here. She texted me that she is busy. In fact, she was supposed to come, but at the last minute, she got busy. I believe that Mukesh Modi ji is going to read a statement on her behalf. So Mukesh Modi ji, floor is yours if you're still there.
Thank you, Surinder ji. So this is the messages on behalf of Priya Samanji. The Priya Samanji, I think she was did all the impact also at the Capitol Hill also. So I'm just reading her message, what she has sent me. The Kashmir file showcase the exodus of Kashmiri Hindus in the early 1990s. The goal of hosting impact events was to educate the global audience, raise awareness about the cause, and bring the film to the attention of global leaders and high-level stakeholders, inspire change, and create ambassadors for the film. As an impact advisor to the Kashmiri files and creating the impact strategy, the impact event was hosted in conjunction with the community screening in Georgia, Massachusetts, Illinois, Colorado, Texas, and California. The event was hosted with the support of community coordinators and local leaders. I had the honors of conceiving and hosting special and very impactful congressional reception of Indian American from the Kashmiri Pandit community at the US Capitol Hill, which was attended by Congressman Andy Barr, United States Representative Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, United States Representative, and by Senator Mark Warner, member of the United States Senate. Peace-loving community who, despite facing ethnic cleansing and genocides, have stood for the human values of harmony and coexistence. Through the Kashmir files, I can say impact has finally arrived in mainstream cinema. Wishing you all a happy Republic Day. Jai Hind. And God bless America. Priya Samanth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh ji, for reading her statement. Well, as I earlier said, that Seattle ran into some trouble, but we are very happy that the Seattle screening did happen. And we had a very nice team led by Sadhana Srinivasa Sadhanaji from Seattle. And in fact, I should name my friend Dr. Rajesh Rana, who worked very hard along with the community there, Deepak Tikuji. Now, because of the storm and cancellation and then rescheduling, they had to redouble their efforts for a successful event. but hats off to Srinivasa Danaji and the whole team that you made it happen. So, Srinivasa Danaji, floor is yours. And after that, we'll open the session with our celebrities that we have been eagerly waiting for. So, Srinivasa Danaji, floor is yours.
Dhanyavad, Dr. Surendra Kaul. Thank
We
you,
cannot
everyone.
see you. Can you turn on your camera, please, if it is
I'm
not
so
an
sorry.
issue?
I'm so sorry. Yes, there are
Oh,
actually a couple of calls also parallelly going on. Thank you, Dr. Surinder. And definitely we thank Pallavi ji and Vivek ji when their inclement visit, I can say, during the inclement weather when we had our show of Kashmir Files on the post-Christmas on the 26th. Provided we still had actually rescheduled this back on the following week, and we did have a very successful show. Personally, I was dumbstruck for almost 2 days that I couldn't even react out back to whoever also gave the reviews. Although I took the courage back to talk to everybody to say the volunteers who participated along with the Kashmiri community with me, to thank everyone, including Dr. Rajesh Raina, Mr. Deepak Tikku, and the other Kashmiri friends who actually participated in the show. But nonetheless, we ourselves as a family were so moved with the entire effort and the way the research conducted and the movie being come out so very boldly without even, as everybody mentioned about adding any other salt and pepper into the events and adding to this. It has been very natural, very clear, and very, very good effort. And people who also came in with the other community groups along with the temple supports, what we have done in Greater Seattle, they all actually gave a very positive approach, and we did record those excerpts and shared it back. But our continuous efforts to keep the support and mentioning what is the need of the hour today is always the point of view. So we will always be the standing support to it. And we thank this opportunity for the entire team. Although like for Seattle, I'm actually the third person to come or jumping into the bandwagon and then taking it again further. But with my little efforts and the untired effort of Dr. Surendra Kaul, I can say, as everybody mentioned, he was there at the drop of the hat for everyone. And he really stood for us also in the same way in motivating and regrouping things and bringing me back into the foray and giving me the opportunity to take this so much forward. Thank you again, one and all, and we stand supported to all of this. And we wish everybody a happy Republic Day and a great successful run. Not just coming back to the world screening, but it has to actually keep continuously coming back again into the now today's foray movies like the Netflix and the Amazon. It should keep continuously screening further to create that real impact. And even in fact on the excerpts what we collected from the youth who participated in the movie as well, they were really moved in and they took it also equally strongly. So that way, even we had that audience coming back with the keen interest to participate with us. We all stand strongly with you in supporting all and everywhere. Dhanyavad.
thank you, Srinivasa Danaji. A leader who works under complicated situations, challenging situations is a real leader. Because all those who work in a normal schedule, things happen, that's okay. But you proved that. You worked under very different situations which were beyond your control. And immensely thanks for that. Moving on, now before I request Pallavi ji, Satya ji, you want to say something? I have just 1 minute for you. If you want to just say something,
Yes,
please do.
yes. Thank you very much. It is great to speak to all these the volunteers who did such a tremendous work. This is a quick announcement. There is a film done, Love Jihad, the conversions film I was invited to watch just a few days ago. It is also a very emotional film, very impactful film also. And it speaks to, it can have an impact on the love jihad going on in India. It was spent with $1 million, I was told, and it was very well taken as well. And I request you, I'm asking the organizer to invite key people here who has organized to see for yourself and see if you can help. They want to try to do the same screening as you folks have done for this wonderful film on Kashmiri files.
Hold on, Satyaji. Yeah.
Satyaji, I would request you to let's avoid this topic here on this forum. That's a separate issue. And there's a reason why I'm asking you, which I'll explain to you on WhatsApp. So let's not talk about that film.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I have. I will contact you folks based on my conversation with Vivek.
Thank you, Satyaji. So now we heard all of you, and I know that Pallaviji and Vivekji were listening to all of the speakers very, very patiently. Sorry, Vivekji and Pallaviji, I took a lot of your limelight. So thanks for that. So I don't know, Pallaviji would like to go first, or Vivekji, you want to go first?
No, I will go first. Let Pallavi she's a great finisher. She's a great finisher, and she has. Okay, so first of all, good morning from India. Good evening.
But Vivekji, I didn't introduce you. I didn't say nothing about you, and you just
say nothing. Please. No, don't
the director will always command the ship, so producer will have to.
No. First of all, let me just explain it to everybody that I personally don't like people praising and all those things. There's a reason for that, and I want to tell you very honestly, because I really love all of you. I have deep respect for you. And all of you are very sincere people. That's why I want to share it with you. And there is a very logical reason for that. Okay, what happens is that when a lot of people start saying, oh, you have done a great job and this is amazing and you are so wonderful, what happens is slowly you start believing in that. And you start believing that you are actually great. And that's where the downfall of all activism begins. When the activists or the thinkers or people who want change agents or influencers, when they start believing that everything is happening because of me and I can dictate my terms, and that's where all kinds of movements end. And we must learn, today is 26th January. I know a lot of people don't like. That's why you see the greatest of the people like Buddha and Mahavir and everything, they did not renounce the world. In fact, they always used to have thousands and thousands of people around them. Their fans, their supporters, people who are worshipping them. But they renounced, the main thing is, they did not allow people to do too much of praising. And we Indians are we love praising people. So I feel very embarrassed. If people who have known me personally in US, they must have noticed whenever somebody praises me a lot, I feel, मुझे लगता है धरती फट जाए मैं अंदर चला जाऊं. Because that stops me from achieving what I am set out to achieve. There are few things I want to share with you which I couldn't do because we were always surrounded with people. Okay, I'm not some 30, 40-year-old young boy who says, let's do activism and change the world and all that. In fact, what I am doing is repentance, because I could not do it earlier in my life. And I thought I should have done it earlier. That's why I have decided to dedicate my life to only one thing, which is to bring awareness about the great knowledge center which we are. In fact, my job was to start with India, because Indians are more unaware of India's greatness than most of the people in the world. And that's why I started working with students and taking this thought process forward. And I want people to believe that if you really want to do something, it can be done. Okay, it can be done, provided you don't think that you are making it happen. So therefore, point number one, I believe this film I have not made. This film was made by the divine powers because its time had come. I just became the medium. I became the medium for the simple reason because I had absolutely unconditional, I would say I had no personal agenda. There was nothing to gain from this. And right from the day when I was mentally prepared that this film will take some money away from you, it won't give anything in return because these kind of films don't. And that's how it started. And I'm so happy that when I told Surendraji the film is ready to release, he said, why don't we show it in US? I said, how will it be possible? No film in the history of cinema has been shown to public before its release. But then Surendraji and I have one thing in common. We don't waste any time between idea and implementation, because both of us realize that when you spend a lot of time between idea and implementation, most probably that thing won't happen. If happen, it won't happen organically and naturally. So this worked, and I won't take names, but every single person from New York to even now, everybody worked so sincerely. This is the first time when so many organizations and people were involved. There were no ego problems. I have seen how Sada came early in the morning at 3 o'clock to pick us up when there was snowfall everywhere in Seattle to drop us to the airport. Ranaji in Seattle came all the way 1 hour to drive just to pick me up from. People brought parathas. People did so many things which I can't tell you. And what Surendraji did for us to come back to India is another story which we'll tell you much later, because it was impossible for us to come back because Pallavi was positive. He did all those things. Anyway, we can go on and on, but I just want to say one thing in the end. This is the beginning. This is, of course, we call it Thanksgiving and all, but this is the beginning. Never ever such heterogeneous group has been formed of volunteers and leaders. From here on, imagine if all of us, there are 16 cities and more than 30 great leaders with us. I was telling Surendraji, what if, I'm sure COVID will become better in some time, COVID situation will become better in some time, but what if all of us, without thinking that what am I going to get out of it, only एक चीज मैं कह रहा हूं, only one thing, if we decide that we will bring India's greatness out for the world to see. And with this single point agenda, with this single point program, if we decide, all of us, to take this forward, and why Kashmir, not just Kashmir, if we pick up different issues of India, different problems of Hindu society, then I have a very strong feeling that we will be able to not just see museums of Kashmir genocide in the world, but also people will start talking about different kinds of injustices which have been done to Hindu society for not just last 70 years, but last 1,000 years. You know, people have to know about our greatness. We cannot keep playing this game of activism on back foot, always defending our weaknesses or always attacking the other people or saying these people are wrong and those people are bad. Instead of that, like Kashmir Files proved its point, Anjali would agree with me that without abusing anyone, without accusing anyone, without, bad naming anyone, we were able to tell our story, and with such success. Similarly, we can do on lots and lots of issues. I told Surendraji that we should, I'm thinking very seriously about it, that sometime in this year, when the universities open up, we should make a lecture tour in these 16, 17, 18, 20 universities, great universities, which influence the next generation of Indian Americans. We should go there, talk to those students, and whether it's Kashmir or other issues, we should take the cause of India and Hindu society forward. That's what we plan. I'm sure we will unite again on many such campaigns, and we'll do some amazing things again. And we will not sleep until we have really, really taken this cause forward. So thank you, everybody. And my best wishes to all of you on this Republic Day. And once again, hats off to Mohan Vanchuji and his team, Surinder Kaulji for his leadership, and every single person. When I'm talking, in my mind, all the names are there, but I don't want to waste time taking 30 names. So thank you, every single person. It's not just volunteership. We have, Pallavi and I, and my children, they have found 30 extraordinary families in US who can be richer and luckier than this. So thank you and happy Republic Day.
Thank you, Vivek ji. Always very strong, crisp message. Can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah, sure.
How do you feel about the Kashmir Files on Times Square. Has it ever happened before about any of the movies?
No, I think this is extraordinary. This is the first time it has happened. I'll tell you what are the two first things which have happened. A, it's not that Indian movies have not been displayed on Times Square, but that is because Amazon, Spotify, they have permanent sites over there. So any movie which goes to Amazon or which has music on Spotify, so those things they advertise, but they are always for a third party advertising. This is the first time and Hindi film is being advertised like this properly on Times Square, number one. And I think what everybody must highlight, that this is the first time a movie is being advertised by the fans and supporters and volunteers. It has neither to do anything with the producers or the studios or the distribution companies. This is extraordinary. I mean, this is something which, these are the stories people tell, you know, many decades later, this is how it happened. And I think all of us, every single person should talk about it. Not that it's something great we have achieved. The greatness is not in advertising on Times Square, but how everybody, ordinary people made this extraordinary thing possible. I think that should be the message to the world.
Thank you, Vivekji. Pallavi, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
I thought that Vivekji will say Pallavi first. So, but it was the other way around. So now the floor is yours.
This has been, I'm sorry, am I audible? Because my earphones have died, so I'm just using the speaker.
Perfect. Yes, perfect.
So, Surendraji, this is an overwhelming moment for me to see the work that you've done, garner so much support and so much love through all the screenings. And on a day like today, when we are celebrating the Republic Day in India, to see the poster of the film on the Times Square and seeing that lovely, bands of saffron and green running up and down, and seeing all the actors' faces splashed there, and to see this work which is being put up, not as Vivek said, through the efforts of the studio, but this is through the efforts of all the people who have truly loved and supported us. I think this is a big, oh my God moment for me. And what a better way to wish all of you a very happy Republic Day, you know. So with extreme gratitude in my heart, I must say that I remember how it all started. We had a conversation on the phone with Surendraji, and we knew that this was going to be like a huge exercise. And I remember the last line Surendraji said, "Don't worry, ho jayega, har har Mahadev." And और क्या कहते हैं वो, मोदी के मतवाले निकल पड़े राह पे. So that's how actually this whole thing started. And when the Right to Justice tour started, we just got headlong into all the screenings, the impact events, contacting people, shooting it there, sending it back to the edit team, the DCP management, the KDM generation, responses of the people, and there was coordinating with the studio. So there was just so much work that even we did not realize what a mammoth achievement this was for all of us put together. And while all of you were talking, I heard you say that through this film, we may have, or we may garner some enemies, but look at the amount of friends that we've achieved in every single city. As Vivek correctly said, हमारे हक के लोग हो गए, हमारी अपनी families हो गई है वहाँ पे. And ऐसा अगर मिलता है किसी को, तो मैं ऐसी 100 फिल्में बनाने को तैयार हूँ. I am not worried about, what happens to us after that, as long as I know that there is so much of love and support for us. So thank you very much for, becoming friends for life. And I would like to start with my first person, and that's Sunil Hali, who has played such an important role. Right from the beginning, when we were doing all our Zoom calls, we were thinking about how to kickstart this tour. Since then, he has been a part of this. And Sunil, after the New York, New Jersey premieres got over, the way you handled that DCP management, that was like a job in itself. And you completely took the worry of us. I didn't even have to even think once कि DCP पहुंच रही है कि नहीं जगह पे, because I knew that Sunil was taking care of it. So thank you so much. Love you lots for that. And Mohan Vanchuji, we would have liked to finish in New York, but हम आएंगे दोबारा. New York का screening तो हो के रहेगा, भले इस trip में नहीं हुआ है. Next में होगा जरूर. And what an achievement. You don't know what you've done for, all the like-minded people by putting, the Kashmir Files poster on Times Square. The kind of response it's even going to generate from India, which you will see in, by this evening or tomorrow morning. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And congratulations to you in person for this phenomenal achievement, the award that you've got.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's all because of the love and support of you all.
Wonderful achievement. And then Mukesh Modi ji, you were the one who kickstarted the Right to Justice tour. And it was a great responsibility because क्या कहते हैं जैसे शुरुआत होती है वैसे ही सब आगे होता जाता है. तो शुरुआत सबको होता है कि शुरुआत अच्छी होनी चाहिए. And though we try not to be superstitious, but एक वो होता है ना कि भाई अच्छी होनी चाहिए शुरुआत. And I think you did that. You made that happen for us. So thank you very much. And along with that, we moved to Edison, where we had Neja ji and Ganesh and Anil Kachru ji. Wonderful efforts by all of you. Edison was such a great screening. So blessed to have you in our lives. And then in DC, I mean, it was such a beautifully managed event by both Swapna and Mohanji. They put all their efforts. Swapna was constantly with me on the phone. कौन आ रहा है आपकी तरफ से? Where will you sit? What time do you want to come? Do you want to do something in DC? Do you need the car? I mean, she was just exceptionally wonderful. So that, and DC, Surinder ji came to the event. The event, I think, was one of the best events we've had. The audience was wonderful there. And from there, we got headlong into these weekend, travels from where we went, Tampa and Atlanta and Chicago and Boston and Raleigh, and it just started off from there. But how wonderful each one, made our stay possible. In Tampa, Dr. Dilip, Dr. Sudhir, Nainan Desai ji, Dr. K, all of them, they took such wonderful care of us. And Boston, we are missing Abhishek and his, dynamism today. But Abhishek in Boston, maybe he took us to God knows which all places. We traveled 2 hours for lunch. We traveled 2 hours for dinner. We traveled 1.5 hours to UMass. We went to Harvard. We traveled again 2.5 hours to some university, some God knows where. And all through that time, we didn't even realize how much we were traveling because Abhishek was always sitting with us, talking to us, entertaining us with his stories. So it was great. And thanks to Abhishek's wife, Jyoti also. And Sanjay Gokhale ji, of course, who was, great pillar of support for Abhishek. And the dear Gupta ji, who drove us around in his stretch limo. So thanks to him also. Then Raleigh, we stayed with Sankarji's family, and what a lovely family. Sankarji, his wife, his daughter, and the lovely dogs. Malika was so happy because she kept missing her dog, and bahan jaake she felt so much at home. That was again a beautiful screening. Some very different crowd we experienced in Raleigh. And we unfortunately spent less than 24 hours there, and we had to go to Chicago. And Chicago, I must say one thing, that when we had come for our research tour, that time, Samanji was supposed to coordinate Chicago for us, but unfortunately his father was unwell then. So he had to fly back to India, and we missed meeting Samanji. But he did manage to come on the last day, and we spoke to him and his wife Pramila ji. And this time also, unfortunately, he started off everything and in the last minute we couldn't meet him. So it was very unfortunate, and Samanji, we missed you terribly. But Rakesh Malhotra ji, what a wonderful, wonderful show you organized with the help of Abhi and Nirmala ji, of course. एक बात रह गई, राकेश जी की पोएम्स हमको सुननी थी लेकिन उसका मौका नहीं मिला. We were always so running short of time. But next time, राकेश जी, जब हम शिकागो में होंगे तो we'll do a proper कवि सम्मेलन और आपकी कविताएं जरूर सुनेंगे हम लोग बैठ के. And from there, I think we went to Denver, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I think so, yeah. And we were received by Yashodhan and Parveen Gupta ji. And Yashodhan, you have just the most infectious smile. I thought I'm the only one who has a constant smile plastered on her face, but I found another one. So you and I, we are two sides of the same coin. Yashodhan was also right. He came to pick us up. I think the temperature was like -9 or -10 in Denver. And he was at the hotel at 4:30 in the morning when we had to leave at 5 o'clock. वो आधे घंटे पहले ही आके बैठ गए थे वहाँ पे. So sweet of him to, take proper care of us. And it was a delight, a pleasure, and an honor to meet Ved Nandaji again and spend some time with him, to hear him. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay for the screening because I think there was some technical issue in the beginning. And I would have loved for Ved Nandaji to watch the film, but then once the film releases, I'm sure he'll see the film. From there, we went to Dallas, and Bhupinder ji and Rajiv and his wife Priya, and everyone was there to receive us. And though we had a very short time in Dallas, but we had a great time. It was a wonderful hotel. The screening was very close. Everything was like within a 10-minute radius of the hotel, the dinner, the screening. And Rajiv, his wife Priya, his son Vivek, daughter Meena, they all, were there. And the best thing was Vivek is almost Mallika's age. He was watching the film, and we had spent the afternoon together laughing, cracking jokes, having fun, talking about Gen Z and everything. And until the interval, he didn't know that it was me who was playing Radhika Menon in the film. And then he turned around and he said, it can't be you. It can't be you. And that, I think, was the biggest compliment probably for me. Then moving on to Austin, we were late. So, we were kind of, there was a little, not a fight, but almost on the verge of, Vivek and I, we were on the verge of fight, because you know how it happens when you are late to reach somewhere, it's always the wife who's at fault. And this time around, I was actually, because I didn't get up in time, I was 15-20 minutes late waking up. And I think that messed up the whole circle. And we reached about 20 minutes late. But Surendraji had very beautifully handled the Q&A. So we spent, about 10-15 minutes in the theater, and the impact event that we had, it was wonderful. We met this lovely Haitian lady who understood the film in totality, and she was sitting with Surendraji, Vivek and me, and her husband was an ex-Marine, and she narrated the entire screenplay to me with the dialogues. I mean, she understood the film that deeply, and it is wonderful to see how people connected with the film on a human level. So different cities gave us different experiences. From then we came to Houston for the impact event, and then we went to LA, where, big thank you, Sunil ji, to you, to Karan, Gaurav, Kanak bhai, and his wife, Falguni ji. उन्होंने अच्छी खिचड़ी खिलाई हमको वहाँ पे. So from there we went to Seattle, and my brother came there to pick me up. So by the time I met Srinivas ji, I think we kind of knew that screening shayad nahi ho sakti due to the weather. And it was a very, we felt kind of let down that are ye nahi ho pa raha hai, but thanks to his efforts, that it happened again, thanks to Dr. Rajesh Raina, who came to drop us again. And it was amazingly cold in Seattle also due to the snowstorm there. And then we reached San Jose and we never made it in time because of all the flight delay and everything. The impact event was supposed to happen at 12. The screening was supposed to start at 4. I think we reached there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we were famished because we hadn't had anything to eat. So we first decided to go and have lunch. By the time we finished lunch, we realized, "Arey, screening to start ho gayi hai abhi." So we said that we'll be there towards the end of the screening. और जब हम लास्ट में वहां पे पहुंचे तो I thought that जीवन जी will be all rattled कि अरे ये एक इवेंट मिस हो गया, अभी तक पहुंचे नहीं है. But जीवन जी, as always, was his usual calm self. He was looking after everyone, and there was not a trace which made us feel that अरे तुम लोग लेट आए. So it was so sweet of you. नहीं तो हमको स्पेशली एक्टरों को बहुत आदत है इस चीज की कि डायरेक्टर्स जो हमारे होते हैं हमें बड़े गिल्ट ट्रिप में डालते हैं कि आपने मेकअप लेट कर दिया, आप सेट पे टाइम से नहीं आए. So we were kind of, I kind of had that approach that Jeevan is probably going to say something to us for arriving late. But it was completely beyond our control. And thank you, Jeevan ji, for that. And then the big finale happens at Houston. My God, where do I even begin? That motorcade that happened there was probably one of the most amazing sights that I have seen, personally. And it just felt so wonderful to be a part of this and to know that you have, when you see the tricolor and the American flag together, it's a sense that athletes probably get, the soldiers get, but maybe actors, filmmakers never get it. But for the first time, we thought we've done something for the country. And that feeling was phenomenal, So, I mean, Anjali ji, Pramod ji, Surinder ji, Adit, and Achalesh Amar ji, all of you did a marvelous job in Houston. But Houston पहुंचते मुझे कहीं थोड़ा सा लगने लगा था that I might be, कुछ तो हो रहा है मेरे साथ. And I'm a very positive person, but for once I wanted to test negative, and unfortunately I didn't. I tested positive, and then, well, whatever happened for the next 2-3 days is we can make a feature film on that, a separate film on that. But on this note of thank you, I would also like to say a big thanks to Ken Nas for successfully, managing all the theaters for us. And with Ken, I would also like to thank Shashi Gowda, who's from FutureWorks Lab in India, and Manan, of course, because we were very typically waking them up at 2:33 in the morning, saying, "Nahi, वापस KDM generate करो, वो गलत IP पे आ गया था, ये वो." All that kept happening. So thanks to both of them. Thanks to Shank, our editor, Shank Rajadhyaksh, and Priyanka Dabas, who worked tirelessly on this from our India, end. And Priyanka had just delivered a baby when the Right to Justice tour started. Her daughter was not even a month old. And I don't know how Priyanka managed this, but very, very proud that she's proving to be a superwoman. And of course, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I would also like to thank Mallika, because, it's not easy for a 22-year-old to, having spent 2 years with her parents during the pandemic, to again take them 24/7 for 40 days and taking instructions from them. So I think she did a phenomenal job by just not losing her cool. And last but not the least, Surinder ji, where do I even begin? Vivek, I think, had summed it up very well in Houston when he called you Bhishma Pitama, because that's what you are.
Let's stop it here.
24/7. And there is one more person I have to thank along with you, and that's Surinder ji's wife, Dr. Sunita Kaul. I think we were claiming every single waking hour of Surinder ji throughout this trip. Also, when he went on a holiday with his wife and son Krish to Las Vegas, I think he was constantly on the phone with us. So for Sunita to have tolerated this and put up with us and still, welcomed us in Houston with such a happy face and so much of warmth and love, it takes a great character and a great, sense of, what do you say? She has a lot of love in her heart, and only then it's possible. So that sums up my thank you to everyone. And as Vivek said, that this is just the beginning. And you must have realized that Vivek and Surendraji have had a conversation, and they've already started working towards the next project where we are all again going to meet. So let's brace ourselves for that. And Shafalika, thank you for waking up in the middle of the night and making this possible for all of us. And all the other people whose name I may have missed, please know that it was not intentional. I may have not said it, but it's here and it's here. It just didn't come out of here. But I love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I just want to,
yes.
Surendraji, I just want to interject just one couple of people we forgot. So I want to thank Dimple Kaul very, very sincerely, because she, the back end, all the social media, everything, she handled it very, very professionally. And in fact, Dimple always stands up whenever there is a cause. Last time when we did Kashmir Files, the Kashmir Festival for 1 month, last year between December and 19 January, we did a Kashmir Festival for 1 month, and Dimple handled, and also Priyanka, only 2 people, Dimple and Priyanka handled. About Priyanka, let me tell you, last time when we did Kashmir Festival, during that she had a miscarriage, but then she kept working non-stop, day and night, 24/7. And this time when we did the Kashmir Files tour, Right to Justice tour, she finally delivered a very beautiful child, and now she's fine. She just had COVID during this, but still they kept working. So Dimple and Priyanka, I think, are the back-end pillars of all these campaigns, and I'm sure in the future they'll keep doing it.
Thank you so much. I was about to remind about Dimple. I could see that we have missed her, but yes, these things happen. We might have missed many other people from our screening group. There have been many, Satyaji, Puttaparthi ji, so many writers who have been writing and sending the messages in the media, and so many things. So Pallavi ji, you made a brilliant statement. You personalize with everyone. I don't know how your memory is so sharp, and remembering everyone and everything that you detailed, that is outstanding. One should learn it from you, the way you delivered and personalize it. That is really wonderful. And that is true. Our volunteers are the heroes of this. They made it happen. A mega successful tour, and donors. We are very immensely thankful to all donors who contributed. We didn't have any funding, but you made this journey keep going, keep going, keep going. And we are very thankful to all of you. I know, Pallavi ji, you said about Sunita, my wife, my beautiful wife. I know she has been tolerating me for last 25 years. She's a wonderful person. I know I cannot stand her when I'm into all these things. And I think ये घर की कहानी है एक्टिविस्ट की, हर एक फॉर्म में या दूसरे फॉर्म में होते ही रहते हों. But I salute her tolerance, I salute her patience, and I think we should now conclude it. अब तो काफी टाइम भी हो गया. So with your permission, Vivek ji and Pallavi ji.
Sorry, I forgot to thank Nirja ji. Nirja ji has always, been there. She keeps sending me messages, such encouraging messages. She sends me a lot of love always. And Nirja ji, that just keeps me going. Thank you. I'm sorry I forgot your name earlier. I kept seeing your face and I thought कि मैंने आपका नाम ले लिया है. Always.
देखिए, हमारी सारी जो ये मिशन है, ये नारी शक्ति ही चला रही. चाहे नीरजा जी हो, चाहे शफालिका जी हो, चाहे सपना जी हो, अंजलि जी हो, यही चला रहे हैं हम. And that is how they keep us all in line and track. मगर मुकेश भाई ने मेरे को बहुत सारी तकलीफें दी है एडवाइस देते देते हुए मुकेश मोदी जी ने बट ही इज अ वंडरफुल मैन आई लव टॉकिंग टू हिम थोड़े से बड़ा जबरदस्त प्रिंसिपल है बट मुकेश जी थैंक यू सो मच कभी कभी प्यार भी बरसा दीजिए हम पे but now let us close it. I know we don't want to close it.
So I want
Shafalika ji, thank you so much. You are an inspiration. अगर कोई commitment or dedication सीखे, we need to see it from you. I should also thank Utpal ji, Virender Kaul ji, barabar tweet, and the whole community have been passionately following things. And I am not still able to get to that community में इतना सारा positivity and everything that everybody is जुड़े हुए हैं, लगे हुए हैं, कर रहे हैं काम. So that is something amazing things happening. And Vivek ji and Pallavi ji, आपने बोला कि ज़्यादा praise मत करें. We are very thankful to you. I say every time कि आपने ये magic किया है. We will remain indebted to you. We will remain thankful to you for what you have done.
Surinder ji, I just want to have one request to Vivek ji. Vivek ji, you are doing, like, these movies are really great, what you're doing even on the past movies. Like, of course, we cannot change the past, but you're bringing the awareness to the everyone. You are uniting the people. I request if you can make a movie to do the action for the future, like what we can do for, like, of course, past we are bringing it, but we need to tell the audience what to do the next to protect ourselves and to protect our country. And I love the idea that you're trying to make India is the #1 country. And I have seen your speeches, I've heard your speeches that you spoke so well about India everywhere. So this is just a request to you. And also,
Okay, मुकेश जी हर चीज के लिए मूवी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. For this, what you are saying about action, we'll do a lecture tour and we'll need your blessings and support and your time very soon, I think in summer of once the university is open. So we'll do that.
No,
definitely. Let's move now on to the closure. And once again, happy Republic Day to all Indians, all people of Indian origin. Let's pray that India will move from strength to strength, strength to strength, and we all have to contribute to that strength. And US is our karma bhumi. We want to make US strong also. When these two countries will become strong, it will make the world strong. So on this note, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Thank you. Okay, namaste.
Namaskar everyone. Thank you.